we got to talk about Pridelines. Okay, so let's talk about Pridelines.
Let's talk about Pridelines.
This is not an easy chapter. Okay, Pridelines isn't just a building; it's a lifeline for many people in this community. And you're stepping into Pridelines during a moment of instability. Okay, leadership turnover, staff frustration of whoever's left there. I'm not sure what's going on with the board. You postponed the gala. What made you say yes to this big jumble of stuff that you've got to attack?
Possibility. Because yes.
You answered that quickly too.
Because it's true. Like, Pridelines has such a, it's part of the fabric of the queer history of Miami-Dade. It's part of the fabric of queer history in the United States. You know, it was something that was started after the Anita Bryant attack on our community. It was started by a bunch of young people that said, we want a safe space to just be us, to exist, to be our most authentic selves, to flourish. And that's how Pridelines got started. Throughout as all organizations that survive through the many years that Prideline has been around, there are always ups and downs, and there will continue to be ups and downs, no matter what. But I remember being a young, queer kid in high school, and hearing about Pridelines. I remember walking into their old building that they had that center, and I was like, "Oh, this is so impressive! Like, look at this place that's giving community
on
to the
Fourth
people,
Court. On Fourth Court, yes,
the
I
people
remember
that needed it the most. Look at this place that has brought in other nonprofits too to do the work that needs to get done in the city, and never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would have the honor or even the I don't even know how to say it, because it's one of those things, like, I never thought that this would come to me, and I never thought that I would be at a place in my life that I was able to now help write the next chapter of what Pridelines is and who Pridelines is going to become.
You got a lot of work to do, my friend.
I do.
I don't even know where to begin with that one. Listen, I've helped with the gala. I was very, very entwined into Pridelines during a certain time of their time, right? Because it was in Miami. I really wanted to help support, my wife worked there for a short period of time. I remember having conversations with Victor Diaz Herman.
Yeah.
And just him, he's a product of Pridelines. You know what I mean? Him telling me, him being a queer kid and going in there, and then fast forward to him being the ED of the place for many years, you know? And it was just that. I was like, wow, this place is the fabric of what it means to be LGBTQ in Miami, you know? And they had big dreams about, what to do and incorporate Broward and blah, 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 and then a lot of things went south, unfortunately. And I don't want to give too much light to that, because there's certain things that still haven't been followed through 100%, and it's not our place to talk about them, right? Because we were both not there.
Right. I wasn't there. You were in there. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So, but I will ask questions that I want to know answers to. When services were disrupted, people were left without care. And one of your locations was in Alapata, which is an area that so desperately needs any kind of help, Do you know what happened to the people that Pridelines was actively helping?
So I wasn't there for that time, so I'm not really sure, but I do know that all the procedures were followed to move whoever it is was getting services from those locations and removed to other providers that are now giving them the services that they need, that they continue to utilize.
Because you weren't doing any of those services from the hub that you were working out of, the visitor center.
So we were, and it's more nuanced than that, because we were doing it. We're still technically in the process of fixing all that and getting all that situated, but yeah, I mean, from what I understand and from what I've heard from my team is that there was a lot of there's a lot of things that were put up and that was just thrown into the air, and now I'm going in there with their help, because the team that's there to survive is an amazing team. Their heart is in the right place. They have this immense sense of service for the community, and that to me is like, that's gold. Like, I have a great team.
And those people were there when you got there.
Those people, well, yes. One of them started like maybe like a year before, and then the other one is an institution in Miami. Eddie.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah. So he
and he's a wealth of knowledge.
Yes,
oh my God.
And I've leaned into him a lot on, like, tell me what was going on. Since he worked there, but he wasn't he wasn't part of the
executive team.
The executive team.
Yeah.
I get a much more nuanced understanding of what was happening from that level. Because I hear what happened on the top, but now I'm getting what's happening in the bottom, and the truth is somewhere in between there. So, it has given me the ability to try to not just try to understand what happened before, but put procedures in place that will ensure that never happens again.
Yeah,
and that the next chapter of Pridelines is one that is going to allow us to thrive once again, and to be that community space for the entirety of our community.
Yeah,
because Pridelines is an older organization. I mean, it's been on for
I think
over
it's like 47
40
years or something.
Yes, and I was actually speaking to. I'm very fortunate that I know a lot of people in the community, and I'm friendly with a lot of people in the community that were part of that time, that historical time in Miami. In fact, one of them is Cindy Brown, who was
I love Cindy.
Yeah, she was the one that said, like, Harold, try for Pridelines, and I'm like, okay.
Okay, so you applied for the Pridelines. They didn't come looking for you.
I know, I applied.
Holy
applied
crap.
for
Pridelines, you guys are so lucky.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's God sent. Literally. Literally. Okay, so let me get this. So you lost the Alapata. That's not a thing anymore. It doesn't belong to you guys anymore.
No.
You're just out of the hub in Miami Beach.
Yes.
Correct?
And the future for us is going to be, we're going to open up smaller spaces across the city by leaning into the spaces that are welcoming us, which are the queer affirming spaces. The churches, the synagogues. I'm working with a synagogue down in Miami to see if we can set up some meeting space, or to create groups for other synagogues that want to have
a meeting space. Yeah.
I'm also working with the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Miami. Luigi is there, and Luigi is he's amazing. He was an ED for Pridelines as well, and I'm leaning into their knowledge and their wealth of wisdom to be like, what made Pridelines successful back then, and how can we bring what worked into the present so that it serves us in the future.
Yeah.
And Luigi has been great about this. And he said, Harold, one of the main things that we did is that we were utilizing the spaces that wanted us there. So Pridelines was originally a Temple Israel. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, let's do those things again. Like let's have. So we're opening up the what I want to call the Dayland Center at the Unitarian Universalist
near you.
Congregation.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But we'll do youth groups. We'll do support care for people who are living with HIV. That can come and do some support groups. And there we'll do some, Luigi wants to bring back the Lavender Salon, which was like a get together that they used to do with people from Pridelines and in the past.
I know people that are in 12-step programs that, like, their lifelines were those get-togethers that Pridelines had. Maybe it was a painting thing or it was a game night or whatever it was, but that camaraderie and that group like really helped a lot of young people.
Yes, yes, and we're facing a loneliness epidemic in this country, and it affects our community as well. And if I can do programming and set up spaces that can help alleviate that loneliness, that can bring people together to just talk, not to learn something or to have, to go into like this, whatever with an agenda, just give people a space to learn from one another. to enjoy a night out, to enjoy
100%.
like good food, good music.
100%.
That is needed. And Miami used to, I always hear from. Um, I've always been someone that I love hanging out with people who are not my age.
Uh-huh.
I
Te gusta lo viejo.
yeah, but I don't mind people my age because I mean my husband's my age. But I just
To get that knowledge.
to get that knowledge, to just like
Yeah.
sit and be like, wow, like tell me about how things work. Tell me about your the struggles that you face that I no longer face, but it's because of you that I don't face these struggles. One of the things that I've always heard is that Miami used to be such a spot for hangout spaces for a community. It wasn't just Twist or Score or whatever is there now, or the Gathering, which I love the Gathering. But we had spaces on the mainland. We had spaces that we used to go to that were ours, that that you can just exist and be yourself in. And my hope, my goal is with Pridelines with our partners is to bring back those spaces so that we can once again come together and face the adversity that's coming, because it's not this things are not going to get easier.
No.
Things are not going, and it's not even about politics. Yes, politics will one day yes, one day no. What's happening to our world, what's happening with our climate, what's happening with the instability that we're seeing, those things are only going to get harder and harder and harder. So it is so important for us to develop these safe lines, to develop these, these pride lines that can keep us together, that can keep us afloat, that can keep us from going under, under the immensity of everything that is happening. I mean, it is overwhelming. There are days that I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, like
So
what
heavy.
is it today?
Like it's so heavy, and there's just something about fellowship, right? I'm sober, and honestly, what kept me there is a group of people being in the same crap that I'm in and understanding what I'm going or not understanding what I'm going, that helped me more than the words on the books that I had to memorize and all that,
and we need those sober spaces.
Yeah.
It's
there's a lot more people sober these days.
Oh my gosh, like it's so interesting to me to see how there are people who are my age and younger who are choosing to be sober, like just because it's like, oh yeah, I don't need to chase that to be happy. I can do that through community. I can do it through other means. And something that I feel like that Pridelines and others in the community can really lean into is to provide those spaces where you can get a mocktail, and the mocktails are actually done really well by like a good mixer. That can give you that experience of socializing without the need of the substance. Because our people, because we're so traumatized and there's so much hurt in our community, we do tend to abuse substances at high levels, and if I can work and try to develop spaces that can create an alternative,
then you're gonna do it.
That's what
Then you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
But you still got to clean up a lot of stuff before you do all that,
Oh,
Harold.
yes.
You know what I mean?
A lot of cleanup happening.
Like you've always been so transparent. You just are, right? It's like, I'm working on this. I'm going to try to get into this. This might not work. This might work, You're never one to seem to be hiding what you're going through. You know what I mean? So we got to talk about transparency. You know what I mean? So there's been public reports and community concerns about money that was allegedly misused or missing under past leadership that, again, you weren't there for and you didn't have a hand in. Okay. Get that all in, folks. All right. So where does that situation stand now?
So we've cleared a lot of that stuff up. We hired a team that has helped us make sense of what was to make sense of what was gossip and what is
good.
real.
Thank you. Thank you,
So,
God.
because there's a lot of gossip. I mean, everything.
There's a lot of BS.
Before I started, there were things that I was hearing that I had to like sit with them, like, okay, this is what I heard. I heard this, and that, you know, and they were like, okay, yes, no, maybe, you know, like, so
We're
it's
still checking on that one.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
but I will say that the you know the team, the leadership team that took over after what happened, really stepped up and ensured that for many reasons that Pridelines was able to stabilize itself once again. And you know, they and this is not just the board, but even other staff people that were there. They helped usher Pridelines through a very dark point in the history of the organization. You know, it's interesting how to see that Pridelines has truly had these like high highs and low lows.
yeah.
And to me, it is a testament to the community and to who they are, that in those low lows that would have really that were so low that any other nonprofit I think would have closed down.
Would have closed down.
Pridelines said
100%.
no.
Yeah.
Pridelines said, we're gonna continue to do this. This is important, and people came in and stepped up and helped.
Yeah.
So that's why I said yes.
So was the money misused?
I don't know, and there are things that I can't speak about right now because of a bunch of different things that are still happening.
Have any charges been filed?
I don't know. I can. There's
Okay.
There's just things that I can't say with those things.
Okay. How are you ensuring do you still have the same board?
No, we have a new board. We have some members that were there through it, but we're in the process of redeveloping the board.
Is your head person on the board still there?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a new board chair.
Okay.
He's amazing.
Okay.
And we're working collaboratively, not just to ensure that there are checks and balances between the board and the true oversight.
Yeah.
But that there's also clear lines of communication between what my experience is on the everyday operations of the organization and what I'm reporting to the board of, like, this is what I'm seeing, this is where this is where we need help in, this is where I need some support in trying to bring people together, or trying to bring this donor in, or trying to do certain things, and those lines of communications and that ability to be transparent between with the oversight and the people who are running day-to-day operations is so important. Because I have seen so many nonprofits with good intention boards get lost in the minutia of, like, well, we didn't know this, we didn't know that, or this is what it is, and this is what isn't. And my goal has always, the way that I want to operate things and I want to run things, and this is from when I was in churches to now, is always, I'm going to give you as much information as I know, because I never want someone to say, like, well, we didn't know this was happening. It's like, no, here's the email, here's the data, here's the timestamp where I sent you this was happening. And that's not a I don't want to use that tool to protect myself, but it's more of like to protect the organization from bad actors.
100%.
Because bad actors are always going to come. Like, we're always going to have bad actors.
They're everywhere.
So we have to protect organizations. We have to double verify, check people's statuses, check people's backgrounds. Like, don't just believe someone that comes in with a title and be like, oh, well, that's
I have
title.
47 degrees.
It's like, let's just double check, verify things. And one of the funny things is, like, when I was applying, I'm like, I not only did I take a picture of all my diplomas, but I'm happy to send you my transcripts, because I want to be so
transparent like you are. Yes.
This is the truth of who I am. This is what I have worked so hard to achieve. I don't want anyone to ever say, oh, well, you didn't tell us. It's like, no, I'm telling you everything.
Yeah. When you got there and you agreed to take this job, was the board already eliminated?
The board was
already eliminated.
Yeah.
Okay. Just because, like, there was someone that was put in prior who I super respected her. She was coming from West Palm Beach,
Right.
an incredible soul, so smart, so dynamic. And it seemed, and this is just my opinion from our conversations, that she was like this
Right.
because of the board. And you can't be an ED if you're like this.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you just can't. Again, you have to work together.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which was also why I was confused by the money fraud and all that shit, because I don't know anything about nonprofits. I work for one. I'm very well aware, but I don't deal with that kind of aspect of it. And I thought that, like, if a check has to be written, if people even still use checks, that it would be a board member and it would be you. You know what I mean? I would think that things would need dual
Authentication.
checks and balances for that to happen, you know? So when that came out, I was like, okay, so who's in the wrong? They should all be picked up then.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that also helps with what you're saying and being super transparent, because you want to make sure that, hey, this is it. This is me coming in naked.
Yes.
Let me know everything.
Yes.
You know?
And I've been lucky and also unfortunate that I am starting with this organization from square one. Lucky in that I'm starting from square one.
Yeah.
There's
Very
also,
difficult.
Very difficult, but at least I know that what the foundation that I'm laying out right now is one that is going to survive, and it's one that is going to be based on that transparency, on that honesty, on that, that way of doing things. The unfortunate part about it is that I'm starting with a team that it's one of my team members. He's newer, so there's no organizational history. Eddie knows everything, so Eddie's great at that.
Yeah.
But I had a program manager that happily resigned, and the reason for resigning was that it was almost like I help stabilize this organization. I feel that it is in good hands right now, and I need to take a step back from my own personal, from my growth, my future,
for your mental health.
For mental health, and I get it. I get it. Like, yes, everyone was on edge. Like everyone, and
how could you not
How
be?
could you not be?
I mean, hello. Funded, not funded, being a part of this, not being welcome to this, being not welcome to that.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are all like walking tiptoe in spaces that you used to stomp in.
Right. And I feel like what I bring into this role now is that I am someone very dear to me told me this recently. It's like, you are an outsider. Yes, I know everybody and a lot of people know me, but I am an outsider. I mean, I'm not part of the same group of people that are always pictured in different events. I've always been in the orbits of these organizations, but I've never been in it. And that gives me a perspective of, like, I can, whatever drama, whatever thing, whatever gossip exists, I'm coming in this fresh. I'm coming in this as a new person.
Yeah.
And I also have the religious spaces that I have connections with, and that I can mobilize, and I can help with collaborations, not just with Pridelines, but with other nonprofits that I'm still very much,
everybody
love.
knows you.
I mean, I want to work with Aqua Foundation for Women. We're doing a lot of joint programming now, because we don't compete, and like you said, who are the ones that are being affected now by HIV, by new infection rates?
Yeah.
Women.
Black and brown women.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Aqua is needed now more than ever.
That's true.
So as in this new position, as in Pridelines, I want to help Aqua do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
I want to with Safe Schools, work with Safe Schools to go into the schools, to talk to the educators, to do the things that we all needed to do. And what's beautiful about it is that these are all like historic organizations that need to really work together in order to do maximum amount of impact.
100%. But we weren't hugged enough as children.
Right.
Okay. And we're always thinking like, no, this is mine.
Right.
If you take a little bit of mine, then I'm not going to have enough. And that's what every organization that's queer led feels like to some degree, instead of doing what you're saying, collaborating and being able to reach more people.
And the kind of beautiful thing about AHF is that AHF does it gives us the opportunity to do those things and fundraise while we're doing it. You know, Pridelines is again part of the AIDS Walk, and we're a full beneficiary, which means that every dollar you give gets matched by AHF. That is awesome.
That's a
That
lifeline.
doesn't exist anywhere.
No.
That is a lifeline. And what I want to showcase more is that we can make a much bigger impact in our community by not being islands upon ourselves, but by building bridges between one another. And you know, like if you do something really well, there's no reason why Pridelines has to enter into that space and do it.
Yeah.
Like I will support you to do that. We can join sponsor things. We can do things, you know, like do new things, and Pridelines can you know sponsor that event, or you can sponsor this event for Pridelines. When it comes to Aqua, you know, bringing back Aqua Girl is going to be so important, because that was a place that women were able to hang out.
It was the
and
first
do
place that I
amazing
went,
things.
and you know, I was like, wow, I get to be out and free, and nobody's gonna judge me, you know, like, and we get to be in bikinis. I'm there.
Yeah, so we want to bring back Aqua Girl, and you know, I'm gonna tap you for all these things too, because it's so important to the good people in our community, the ones that are doing the work, the ones that are making a difference and truly are showing up every day. Those are the people that I want to empower. Those are the people that I want to continue to put up on pedestals and be like, look, these are good people. These are the people that are going to help you. These are the people that are going to stand with you and stand with us through the good times and the bad times. And being now here at Pridelines, I see those people. And you're one of them, you know, like
babe.
And when I told you, like I you know, it was
This man, he has no tact sometimes, okay? He can't go, hey, give me 2 minutes, or, oh yeah, we need to have a phone call, okay? Call me sometime during the week. I mimo in the middle of an event. He's like, hey, it's good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Kisses, kisses. Oh, I like your dress. Hey, I'm the new ED from Pridelines. I'm gonna go get a piece of bread. I'll be back.
and I know I kind of like do it on you like that, but honestly, like you are that person that gives me hope. And you know, even Lisette from the chamber.
Oh, I love Lisette.
Yeah, when the first day that I walked into the office, you know, she gave me this big hug, and she's like, I am so happy that I did see you. And I have never felt so welcome in a new position ever in my life as Lisette allowed, like imparted onto me. And the reaction, you know, the reaction that I get when I tell them I'm the new ED of Pridelines is always like, ooh, are you sure? But then I'm like, but then it's like, okay, but I guess, you know, some people have said that if anyone can do it, I guess like you can do it.
I mean, again, and that's across the board, Harold. Yo te dije lo mismo.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think that just get used to the initial shock.
Yeah.
Just because you know what I mean? Like, in a short period of time, those people did a lot of damage.
Yes.
You know, unnecessarily.
Yes.
And unfortunately, in our community, we love to help, but we also like to judge. And we can't keep a secret. We will tell all our friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just how we are. You would think that we would be more united. So get used to that shock, but also embrace and take in the energy that comes in with, oh, but if anybody can do it, it's you.
Yeah.
Because in that same breath, I felt that. Like, I could feel and a lot of it is also like, coño, I don't want you to go through hardship either.
Right.
You
yes,
know what
and
I mean?
It's yes, and I get that. You know, I get it from other people too, that they're like, you know, it's going to be, and it is, it's a journey. It's going to be a struggle for us to get Pridelines back to where it needs to be. But the funny thing is that I don't want to do what Pridelines was doing. You know, I don't want to bring bring it back to the golden age. It's like we can develop a new golden age. We can respond to the community, to what our needs are right now. And we're so because we're starting from square one, we're so you know, fluid right now to respond and to create programming and to establish ourselves in the spaces that we've always been there, but we kind of like lost sight of in trying to be something that I think got us off mission. So it's a returning back to our core mission, which is to be that center for our community. But it's also understanding that the people who Pridelines first helped are now in their 40s and 50s. The people who started Pridelines are now in their 50s and 60s. You know, there's a whole generational component of people that have walked through those doors, people that have engaged with Pridelines that now allow the organization to re-engage those people where they're at right now in this moment in time. So my goal is to really create this more holistic understanding of what it means to be LGBTQ+, what it means to be queer, what it means to be someone that you survived the AIDS crisis and you're not like, you know, you're in these silver years and you're like, whoa, I never thought I would get here.
Yeah.
But then also teach the young people of what happened during that time. That you went to funerals almost every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we forget. Like there's this collective amnesia that I think like everybody gets, and this is not just part of our community; it's everywhere. But that collective amnesia is contained by conversations between one another.
Yeah.
By creating safe spaces for those who have gone through it, to teach those who don't know anything about it, but then those that are living out their living out their truth in new and creative ways can teach these other people of like, you know, yes, we use different language, we use different things, and that's, you know, and it's because of you all that we're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And then there's everybody else in between. There are people, there are queer parents, there are people that are trying to make families. They are there's a whole section of our community that is just trying to navigate different ways of being together, different ways of forming families, different ways of even having relationships. That it is important for us to acknowledge it and to engage it and to create the space where everyone can kind of learn from one another. Yeah. And that is where I want to take Pridelines into, which is really what I think it's bringing it back to the basics.
Yep.
Of creating this community.
Yep.
And this community space for all.
Amen. Yeah, I said that. All right, Harold.